Yes, you're welcome in today's session. My name is Patrick Kamala. I am a tutor and an educator for mathematics and also physical sciences, grades 10 to 12. So today I want us to look at these solutions for paper 1, grade 12, November 2020. And question 1 I think is going to help us because you guys came from grade 11 and these questions are from grade 11, so I think they're going to help us a great deal. Let us start with it so that after question 1 you can do other question 1s from other years, and then when we are done with that we are going to proceed with the grade 12 work. Okay, so this was question 1 and it was saying that solve for x such that x squared minus 6x equals to 0. Now if you check here, you see that we have got x and another x here, so it means x is a common factor. So what we do, we factorize out that x, which gives us x, open brackets, into x minus 6 equals to 0. And because we are multiplying to get 0, it means either by the zero product rule, it means either x equals to 0, which is actually 0, or x minus 6 equals to 0, and in this particular case this 6 is negative, so it becomes positive. That's why I have here x equals to 6. Yeah, that was the first part of the question 1.1.1. Let us proceed. I hope we are together. And then the other question was saying solve for x, that is 1x squared plus 10x plus 8 equals to 0. And they say you must give your answer to 2 decimal places. So it means actually because of that we're going to use the quadratic formula. That is to say x equals to minus b plus minus b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So if you check our general standard equation, we see that ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. So from here we can compare and see that our a is 1 positive, and then our b is positive 10, and our c is positive 8. So because now we have the a, b and c, now we can substitute in our formula, and when we do so, then we are going to have x equals to minus 10, there is a negative on the formula here, then plus minus 10 squared minus 4 times 1 times 8 divided by 2 times 1. Now here this is plus or minus, which means that we're going to first deal with a plus, then when we are done we deal with a minus. So on your calculator you can first punch in to get minus 10 plus that 10 squared minus 4 times 1 times 8 divided by 2, which actually gives us negative 0.88. And because they want the answer to 2 decimal places, that's why we stop it at 0.88 negative. Now if you take the minus sign, you're going to get also x equals to minus 10 minus root 68 over 2, which gives us negative 9.12. I hope we are together. Let us proceed. Then this was an inequality. We are saying solve for x, that is 1 minus x times x plus 2 less than 0. So usually here it's better to first get the critical values by equating this product to 0, and when we do so, because we are having 2 brackets multiplied together to give us 0, it means we are going to say that either 1 minus x equals to 0, which gives us actually x equals to 1, and also we know that also x plus 2 equals to 0, which gives us what? X equals to minus 2. Now this minus 2 and positive 1, they are my critical values. That's why I put them here. And then if you check our inequality, we see that if I multiply this negative x, check this out, negative x multiplied by the positive x, it gives me a negative x squared. So because of negative x squared, it means that my shape is going to be like this. So because my shape is like this, now I come on the number line where I put my critical values, that is from the smallest, which is -2, then the highest equals +1. Now check something here. If you look at our question, it was saying 1 minus x into x plus 2 less than 0. So now don't forget this. Now on this line, which is the x-axis, here we know that our y actually y equals to 0, and then if you go above the line, it is y bigger than 0, and if you go below the line, it is y less than 0. So if you check my parabola here, we can say this point of the parabola, this one here, is where the parabola is below the x-axis, and because it is below the x-axis, I can say that for me to get my x values here, I simply look on the number line, and in this particular case, it's going to be, as you see where I've shaded, it's going to be x less than -2 or x bigger than +1, because you see it's coming this side. So that's how I get this solution here, and my answer is going to be x less than -2, as you see it is below the x-axis, or x is bigger than 1. I hope we are still together. Let us proceed. Then another question, that is 1.1.4, was saying solve for x such that root of x plus 18 equals to x minus 2, and they give you 5 marks. So usually in this particular case, what we do, we remove the root sign by doing what? If we square both sides, okay? So when you square both sides here, we put brackets, then squared, and then this side as well squared. Now this is square, the square here is going to cancel with the root sign, and then you're going to be left with x plus 18, and this side we expand it normally as we did in grade 11. Now there is a shortcut here. If I want to expand this, what I do, I simply square the x, that's I say x squared, then I multiply 2 times x times -2, which gives me -4x, and then +2 squared, which gives me +4. In other words, I am going to get x plus 18 equals to x squared minus 4x plus 4, and then I collect like terms from here. You see I only have 1x squared, so it doesn't have any like term, but this positive x, after crossing, it becomes -x, so -4x minus x becomes -5x, and then the positive 18 becomes a negative, so 4 minus 18 is -14, then equals to 0. Now this one being quadratic, I factorize, and when I do so, I'm going to have x minus 7 into x plus 2 equals to 0. You can check this out. X times x is x squared, and then minus 7 times +2 is -14, and if you check also, -7 plus +2 is -5, which means our factors are correct. Now because I'm equating to 0, it also means that again either x minus 7 equals to 0 and in this case I'm going to get x equals to 7, or x plus 2 equals to 0, which gives me what? X equals to negative 2. So I hope we are still together. Let us proceed. And now this question here, it is a simultaneous equation, which is one linear, one quadratic, and we solve such equations simultaneously by making either, if you look at the linear equation, which is x plus y equals to 3, then you either make x the subject of the formula, or we make y the subject of the formula. So in this particular case, if I make y, it's going to be y equals to 3 minus x. And in that particular case, after getting that, then now I substitute for y in this equation here, that is 2x squared plus 4xy minus y equals to 15. Then where there is y, I'm going to put 3 minus x, which means this y here, I'm going to put 3 minus x, and this y here, I'm going to put 3 minus what? 3 minus x. The moment I do so, I'm going to open my brackets. Don't forget that y equals to 3 minus x. Upon opening brackets, you can see 4x times 3 is 12x. Then 4x times minus x is minus 4x squared. Then negative times negative x is going to be positive x, and then minus 3. Then later of which I'm going to actually get this, and then you can see I've got like terms here now, that is 2x squared minus 4x squared, which gives me negative 2x squared, right? Then 12x plus 1x is 13x, and then negative 3 minus 15 is going to be minus 18. So I'm going to get my quadratic equation, which is actually negative 2x squared plus 13x minus 18 equals to 0. So again here, as I can see this, now I can divide by negative 1 to give me 2x squared minus 13x plus 18 equals to 0. After which now, because there is a 2 here, it means I can easily solve this by creating pairs. Now to solve this, you see this 2 here is going to be multiplied with the positive 18 here, which gives me 36. Now I look for two numbers, multiply them, get 36, but when you add them, get negative 13, and those numbers, they're actually negative 9 and minus 4, because negative 9 times minus 4, it is positive 36, and the negative 9 minus 4 is minus 13. So this means now I have this pair here, and this other pair here. So what is left for me to do is actually to take out the like terms, and as you can see here, x is common, that's why I put it outside brackets. Then here I take out minus 2, left with the 2x minus 9, and then you see again here, this is 2x minus 9, 2x minus 9, so it is still common, so I put outside brackets, and then I'm left with actually 2x minus 9 equals to 0 again, because this one is equal to 0, either this bracket equals to 0, which gives me x minus 2 equals to, which gives me x equals to 2, or 2x minus 9 is 0, which gives me what? X equals to 9 over 2. Now don't forget that these are x values here, which I have, but the question was talking about x and y, so I have to come back here and substitute to get my y, which means where there is x, I'm going to put these answers here. I'm going to put the positive 2 to get my first answer, and also put the 9 over 2 to get my other answer for y as well. So when I use y equals to 3 minus x, I'm going to get y as below. That means I'm going to get y equals to 3 minus 2, because this was my first answer here, which gives me 1. And then when I use 9 over 2, I'm going to get my y as negative 3. over 2. I hope we are still together. So these numbers, they carry a lot of marks, and learners usually make careless mistakes here, so you have to be careful. Then if we proceed to the other part of the question, that is 1,3, they say that if n is the largest integer for which n to power 200 less than 5 to power 300, determine the value of n. So what I do here, actually, because of the 200 and the 300, I find the 100th root. I find the 100th root on both sides of the inequality. And in this particular case, if I do so, I see that the 2 zeros are going to cancel here. This one here. Likewise here, this one is here. I'm going to cancel them here like this. Then I'm going to be left with actually n squared less than 5 to power 3. I hope you understand this. Now, because I'm looking for n, to remove the square, now I do what? I square root both sides and of the inequality. Then after doing so, I can see that I'm going to get my n is less than 11,18033,989. But because I'm looking for the integer, my n is an integer, so it doesn't have to be having commas. In this particular case, it means my n is going to be actually 11. My n is going to be 11. Surely, if you put n as 11 here and you punch in your calculator, you will see that this one here is the nearest integer, which is less than this other part here of the inequality. So thank you so much for watching. This is question 1, and don't miss out question 2. So this is the activity 1. This is our first video, so please try this activity, and when you find any challenges, you can contact me on my number here, which you see here, and then we shall take it from there. So after question 1, we are starting grade 12 work. Thank you. Bye bye.